On the last day of her trial, the jury hears one final piece of testimony from Aileen Wuornos herself.
He put the cord around my neck, and he said, "Do you want to die, slut?" And I just nodded no. And then he said, "You're going to do everything I tell you to do, and if you don't, I'll kill you right now, just like the other sluts have done."
Her defense was self-defense, and it was predicated on her claim that the man she felt she had to kill convinced her he had hurt other women, and he would do it to her as well.
He began to start having anal sex. Okay. And he's doing this very violent manner. And he puts rubbing alcohol up my rectum area. It's really hurt.
So when a defendant's whole case is based on self-defense and is claiming that the victim actually said, "I'm going to do to you what I did to others," one would think that there should have been such a bar to say, let's find out if this man ever hurt other women. But nobody listened to her.
In court, Aileen claimed for the first time that she had been tied to the steering wheel by Mallory and generally painted a picture of this horrifying rape scene. But it was the first time anyone had heard it. That was a full year after her 3-hour confession to the police officer.
Now Mr. Mallory was trying to rape her. Mr. Mallory was trying to choke her to death with a wire.
So we're now hearing a completely different story.
The prosecution played portions of Aileen's original confession to the jury, but it was heavily edited. In the original confession, Aileen says that this was self-defense at least 50 times.
Because they said, I defended myself.
And that was completely edited out of the tape that was played in court.
I had seen the 3-hour confession tape. It was heavily edited with the purpose of it being something that could be entered into evidence to make it as focused as possible on the Mallory homicide for the first trial.
3 hours were edited down to 16 minutes. So much content was lost.
What we had was this hodgepodge of confessions implicating her in multiple crimes. We had to piecemeal each person and lay out who was what and what she was saying.
Was it prejudicial? Well, it certainly didn't help her.
When you saw her in the confession, she was like a cornered animal. This would be something that you would splatter across a trial from beginning to end. But this was missing from the trial tapes.
Had the jury heard these 50 times when she said it was self-defense, that would have gone a long way towards helping her case. But that didn't happen.
It was a very difficult case to cover because she was the person who was telling a lot of it and her stories turned on a dime. So what I felt that you had to go with was the physical evidence. The bullet holes. Where were the men shot?
He says he crawled out the door. And then she ran around to the front of the car. She shot him again.
What we were able to do is show from the manner of some of the homicides that some of these men were shot in the back. Hard to argue that as self-defense when someone is running away from you and you put a bullet in his brain.
The jury was under the impression that there was no evidence backing up Aileen Wuornos' claim of self-defense. But the past of her first victim was missing from that trial.
The prosecution argued that Aileen's self-defense motive was nonsense, that Richard Mallory was a decent man with no history of violence. And as we would later learn, that's total bullshit.